just going to sit here and let the music play and see how long it takes Harsh to realize that, the screens are on.
Hello. Hiya. I'll try to do an Uncle Roger impression. Hello.
That just sounded like a real Indian introduction.
No, that is not an Indian introduction.
But come on, don't make me laugh right now.
Why am I with Max and these two cartoon characters? You're not even here. What are you doing with your lives? Anyway, welcome to the show.
What are you doing?
That is a question I ask myself because I know you exist. Anyway, now, welcome to the show, everybody. We have the man, the myth, the legend, one of the most talented, probably the most talented person on this entire set, Maxx His UnHoliness. We have, of course, Dr. Jean Grey, Miss Jackie Hyde. And I see the Reddits for Florida for these next 10 days. And, of course, we have a man who needs no introduction and no introduction at all.
And no picture either.
The man with the longest name in Facebook, Scott Ryan Christopher Nicholas Sonnier.
Nicholas is not part of my name. What are you talking about?
We all know this. Anyway, coming from the kingdom himself. So, let's get started on this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday night. I know Scott has a lot of things he wants to share on the time of the week. So,
I do?
Yes, you do.
Who's playing with the screen? Stop it.
That wasn't me.
He was talking by himself.
I know that was Jackie. She's being bad.
I know.
She's not behaving.
Jackie, if you do that again, I am going to start making fun of people close to you on the show.
Go ahead.
It'll be people that Scott doesn't want me cracks jokes that Scott doesn't want me to crack. So you're gonna be upsetting Scott if you do that. Anyway,
it would just be alienating people that you shouldn't alienate. That's all.
Oh well, it's hard to notice that with the audience today.
All right. Well.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, Hoey. Hoey is actually going to have LMAFO bully. Well, that's how you have to deal with the natives and the colonizers. Now, such a stereotype. Hey, I'm not
colonizers, but yet you're not even on your home soil.
Yeah, well, some of us have to get revenge. Anyway.
Ooh, touche.
It's such a stereotype, Harsh. If I was a stereotype, I wouldn't be wasting my Tuesday night on this set with you degenerates. Anyhow, now let's get started. Scott, I know you wanted to talk about some issues in regards to the border and the executive order. Regarding that, Mr. Sonnier.
Chirp, 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 chirp. Cricket, 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 cricket.
Just turn on your signal light. It's some good waiting music.
I think he has declined to answer that question.
So what's going on at the border anyways with you guys? I haven't heard anything.
Well, I was told as of a few hours ago that they signed an executive order.
An executive order stating what?
An executive order trying to shut down immigration at the border.
Oh, okay.
Like immigration, like are they is it like immigration like from down in Mexico, or are they finally caught on to how many Canadians have been defecting over to the United States in the last few years?
They haven't shut down the northern border yet. You're fine. You just have to wear a Detroit hat and say you're from Windsor and you'll be good to go.
Oh, I just figured I was gonna storm down there in a Dallas Stars jersey.
Why? So you could be miserable? Well,
I mean, they did lose, but they shouldn't have. The Oilers suck.
Well, as long as Florida wins, right?
Okay, but can we just reflect on the fact that is just the most insane thing I have ever seen for the playoffs? It being the Edmonton Oilers versus Florida.
Well, I mean, 18 years ago, it was the Edmonton Oilers versus Carolina. So
But I mean, like, it's just weird seeing Florida hit the playoffs in general.
It is. It felt even more weird when it was the Blackhawks versus the Tampa Bay Lightning in 2015 because the Hawks are the reason the Hawks alumni were the reason the Lightning had a franchise to begin with. So it was very full circle. But enough of that. I know Scott wanted to talk about some other. Scott wanted to share his opinions on that because it was Well, they did sign an executive order saying that either this morning or yesterday, according to Mr. Sonnier.
Which he ran away.
Yeah, and considering the fact that the Supreme Court is full of right-wingers, that really wouldn't be a difficult thing to uphold. Fuyo, there he is. Nephew Sonnier, nephew Scott, there he is.
Sorry, I had something went wrong over here for a second. I'm back.
Keep Californian people in Cali. I will say, if Texas, the way Texas is going, California's going to go back to Cali. It's not.
Yeah, so Biden signed an executive order earlier today to shut down most of the southern border, apparently at midnight tonight. So, I mean, isn't it a little too late now at this point? I mean, what's the point now?
Well, how do we call it? Jack, you want to go first with this? Because I do have some.
I have a question. Wouldn't that wouldn't that hinder your guys' trade issues too? Like, don't you guys actually buy things and trade things from Mexico?
But it's not Mexico. It's more than Mexico at this point.
Yeah, well, it would be everything south of the American border at that point. Anybody that would use that land crossing, the water crossing would be different. Whereas, that's different. But I'm just confused. So wouldn't that harm more than help help any issues in that regard?
Not necessarily, because it's all undocumented and none of it is done through legal channels. So it really wouldn't hurt as much. Now, what I will say is that those other countries will be like, damn it, I thought we could pawn off the ones we don't want onto America. So,
but it sounds like they said that they closed the border. The border's closed.
According to the order.
According to the article, it's supposed to be closed at midnight tonight.
Yeah, so that's not saying it's just closed to immigration. They're closing that border.
Well, I mean, that's what it's supposed to be, but coyotes are a thing, so,
Fair.
So, but more importantly, it is kind of weird because yes, it's an executive order, and yes, Hoey did say it best: too little, too late, but a stopgap for political gains. Yeah, this is just pandering at this point from the administration.
Yeah, the announcement, it even says it in the article. The announcement represents an aggressive attempt by Biden to bolster his standing on the border in advance of the November election.
Right. I mean, he's trying to appeal to three different. He's trying to appeal to three different bases at the same time with that order.
Well, and just it's also a huge factor where people are noticing and paying attention. Yes, it's too late because of how long Biden, whether or not he's been president, for how long he has had influence in that office. It is too late. Why didn't you do this back when you were working with Obama?
Or when he was in the Senate for 48 years.
Right? He's been there for a while. This is too late.
He's a career politician. I mean, that's all he is.
He's a career warmongering politician. That's all he is. But that being said, this is too little, too late for him because people are not going to look at this as any sort of way. But this is kind of a double-edged sword for the immigration issue, though. This is kind of a double-edged sword when it comes to Western society. I think Scott and I were talking about this on the phone earlier today.
Which part?
That while this undocumented migration, illegal immigration, whatever you want to call it, is terrible, it's also, besides the fact, it's for cheaper, to screw over the workforce, cheaper labor, whatever, it's also trying to be a cover up of one other issue, is that the progeny rate in Western society is at 1.6. Jack, you trying to get a tip for that badly. You just be on full screen if you need to. But the point being is it's at 1 point. The progeny rate is the reproduction rate is at 1.6. In order for society to survive, it has to be at least a 2.1. So I'm starting to think if that migration issue is all they're trying to use that migration issue to cover up that topic as to
I doubt that
as well, because I mean they are panicking. They are the ones in Western society is panicking when it comes to that, because there's a lot of them are like, oh crap, we're not going to be able to maintain our population, which, not to talk about, Jackie's favorite issue, but it's Scott's favorite issue. But that's also the reason why they overturned Roe. I'm thinking at least half the reason why they overturned Roe v. Wade, because a lot of these Western societies are very...
Make assumptions that somebody has their thoughts are the most touchy subject for somebody. I've never brought up Roe versus Wade ever.
And I was joking. Oh, but anyway.
I was just wondering where that came from. Like, do you have me mixed up?
No, you were shaking your bottle. Also, it was
yes, it's got real lemon bits in it. When you let it sit for too long, everything settles. So you got to shake it.
No.
She's got to shake her bits.
That's awesome.
Every so often, keep them from settling.
That was the most polite way I've ever heard somebody call bullcrap in my life. Right there.
Well, it's the most polite way because it became about something else. Anyway, the point about things being shaken.
No, it's more. Just all this is political posturing. That's all this is.
I know it's political posture when it comes to.
There's no undertones. There's nothing. I mean, this is just him trying to pick up a few people on the right that he's lost. That's it.
Right. I mean,
or somebody who's more left leaning in the moderate areas.
That's why I said he's trying to pander to a few bases with this few different voting blocks with this order, because there are working class people that have gotten screwed over by the illegal immigration as well. It's not just the other.
I'm excited for them to try it. I want them to do this in Canada. I'd love them to step up against the immigration that's going on here, but
I just think it's funny that he's signing executive orders to undo executive orders that he signed to undo the laws that were already in place that Donald Trump had passed before he left office.
Yeah.
The man said he would build not 1 mile of wall while he was in office. They already started 22 additional miles.
Well, you have to remember, him and Obama were in favor of closed borders for way early in his presidency as well. So I mean, this isn't all that surprising. I remember Obama. I mean, technically, Obama deported more illegals than Trump.
Well, yeah, but okay. Well, then here's the question: why would Biden just carefree, not even care for so long?
Well, it goes.
I mean, generally, the entire span of his entire presidency, he did not care.
Right, but the thing is, though, like you said earlier, this is for him to pander this way. He was trying to pander the other way with the migration. He was trying to say, okay, well, if we get as many documents as possible, and then you have the whole the piece.
Ain't pandering illegal? Ain't there like a crime called pandering?
No, that's panhandling
and
not pandering. That's panhandling.
Are you sure that's all it is? Vanilla ice cream?
I'm just saying, something told me, I swear it's a crime.
No.
Panhandling is a crime in certain districts up here. Like in Edmonton, you have to apply for a permit to be a panhandler.
That's insane.
Dang, they taxing even the panhandlers now. Whoa.
So does Hunter get convicted? That's a very, very touchy subject. I don't know how that one's going to go. If he doesn't get if he doesn't get convicted, it's gonna make the election a little bit more interesting.
I'm not going through that.
Because Trump's gonna. I hate to say it, but Trump's gonna look even more like a martyr.
Yeah,
at that point.
Yeah, I'm not going through the whole lock them up like roller coaster again or lock her up roller coaster again because I was like, yeah, if Trump gets elected, maybe he'll try to send Hillary to jail, and then it's like, no, no, he didn't bother
My
with that.
memories were the best recently because I found one of my Trump and Hillary memes that I had found during the last election.
Right,
It's mint.
it is. Yeah, I mean,
I can't post it up here. I got banned on Facebook for it.
all right. Well, so yeah, in short, the answer is no. Hunter's not getting convicted. I'll wait. I'll wait for the Clintons to get convicted first before Hunter.
But you see, but here's the thing: if he doesn't get convicted, that's going to let the far right and the extremists, for lack of a better term, that's just going to turn Trump more into a martyr at that point if he doesn't get convicted.
Right.
And the thing is by all means, he probably should be convicted. But
right. I mean, like I said, when WikiLeaks came out and nothing happened to anybody involved in those emails, like
not in those emails, no. Just Julian Assange has been locked up for the last 20 years for it.
I mean, that's kind of when I gave up on the legal system itself. But yeah, Hoey with some very wishful thinking, saying right now, I bet he's going to send them all to jail. I'd be mad catching 34 felonies. I mean, like I said, it's wishful thinking, but I mean,
he can't be pardoned from this because this wasn't federal. So you can't pardon Trump for this one.
And plus, it's a plus the punishment's going to be probation, so I don't know how that would even work. But it's not. I mean, in theory, he should, but in practicality, it won't happen.
Time out. What do you mean? Because it's not. I mean, he can't be pardoned. Like,
he can't be pardoned by presidential pardon. He can be pardoned by gubernatorial pardon.
Okay.
Well, I just wanted to ask just so like you was able to clarify that one.
Because it wasn't a federal case.
Right. And plus, the case is going to be appealed to the federal courts anyway. So.
Yeah.
And if the judges he appointed are ruling, then it should be thrown out anyhow.
The thing is, it's going to be an appeal process until well after the election, regardless of which direction the election goes.
Oh,
I mean, they're going to keep it tied up in the legal system until well after the election.
Right. Depends on who the judge is, though, because if it's one of his appointed judges, they might just throw it out. They might just be like, look, this case is being overturned. This
right. I mean, it wasn't a federal case. The feds did look into it. They couldn't find any wrongdoing.
Yeah.
I mean, and even he said himself during his own speech after the trial, and to be honest with you, my political stance really doesn't matter. I mean, I'm just repeating what he said. And it rang true because he said his attorney told him he needed this money for an expense. So he gave the money to his attorney, and his bookkeeper labeled it as a legal expense. How is that illegal? It was money he gave to his attorney for an expense, which made it a legal expense.
Right. Well, the whole thing's a farce. Honestly, I think that's the reason this happened the way it did is so more people are going to get riled up and pay attention to the system and vote for Trump. But I do like this, but Hoey, actually, I don't think it's going to be that type of spark this time because I think what happens with the Trump stuff is going to be a bigger spark because there's a lot of people in melanated communities that are not happy with Biden either, from what I've noticed. So I don't think it's going to have the same pull as it did in 2020. But yes, it is an election year, so it is going to get worse. And yeah, I'm going to just not be on the show for like the entire summer. If that's the case.
I mean, but in all honesty, when it comes to Trump and Biden, aside from people just not liking who he is personally, what does anybody have to argue with as far as what did he do wrong while he was in office? You never hear about any like negative policy that he made the wrong type of policy for X amount of whatever or this, that, or the other, or economics or anything like that. It's always, well, Donald Trump talked about this person the other day and he should be canceled for it.
Right. No, but
you know.
Yeah, but the crazy part is there are people that voted against Trump in 2020 that in 2020 that are now like, yeah, you know what? I kind of missed the guy. Yeah, he was obnoxious, but I had more money in my pocket. There are people saying that. And it's not just your white suburbanite types either. That's
because inflation is through the roof.
Right.
You know, people can't, people can't afford groceries right now.
There are people who are like, man, Trump was president, I had more money in my pocket. But yeah, that's also going to be problematic because if he wasn't capable of standing up to the donut pushers last time, well, that makes me wonder if he's going to be capable of doing that again.
That's a good question.
That's
the only thing that I'm like I had told you a while back. The only thing that I'm really concerned with is if he gets elected after all of this garbage with legal battles and this, that, and the other. If he gets elected this time, is he actually going to run the country, or is he going to gloat that he won the entire 4 years? That's the only thing I'm really concerned with. And the only reason I say that is because of the type of person he is.
Well, I mean, for the first 3 years of the country, he was doing both. So of his presidency, he was doing both, and then 2020 came and he basically became neutered. So I mean, it's
hard to.
I mean, he could do both at the same time as long as he's not neutered by, Dr. Fauci and company again. Then sure, but if he is, then well,
I mean. Now, I want to get to this because everybody says he's pro-Russia. Where has he ever given evidence that he was pro-Russia?
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
I've never really seen where he said anything. I mean, he tried to have peace talks with people, obviously, but all presidents
because
do.
It makes him money. That's the thing. A big thing with Russia and Trump, it's not that he's pro-Russia. It's the financial gain he gets from working with Russia that anybody really gets with working with Russia. They tried to push it up here that our fuel shortages, that all of our gas and oil shortages are coming because of the war with Russia and Ukraine. They're trying to blame it on them.
No, all of our shortages are coming for the simple fact that Biden shut down most of the pipelines whenever he started his presidency.
That's just it, though. But that's what I'm saying. Like in a way, like what everybody's missing is the financial thing, because Trump is all money driven. He wants to make sure that the United States makes money and that the money stays in that country because it benefits not only him but everybody within that country.
No.
That's why I've always liked him, because he's pro what's good for his country.
That's the biggest thing about this proxy war we're fighting with Russia right now, with the Ukraine. And I don't care what anybody says, it's a proxy war. We're constantly feeding that poor little country just enough to keep Russia back, just enough to keep them at the lines where they're at. And Russia's, of course, depleting all of their supplies of military and everything, equipment, so on and so forth, people. The only thing that Russia has is people. They can throw millions of people at a conflict. They don't have any equipment. And my other line of thought is if Donald Trump wins this election in November, becomes president again, will he use that as a basis to gain Russian resources, basically? Because he is a businessman.
He really is.
You know, and when I say use the resources, I'm not talking about like, you know, negotiating deals and stuff. I'm talking about like just blatantly going in there and taking it.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean, and that's the type of volatility he has as far as a person.
All right, guys.
Oh no, you've made it there now?
Yep, I'm off to have some fun.
Max has made his way to all the way to Detroit, Michigan, where he's going to have his little debut. He's going to have some fun tonight. So,
Yep.
and thank you, Max's thumb. All right, have a great night, Max.
Right. Yeah. That was so much fun hanging out with Max in Milwaukee. That was so cool. It really was. Jackie making all those weird faces behind the
I'm just reading Hoey's comments.
Yeah, Hoey.
I struggled reading one of the comments and I had to go back and keep rereading it for it to make sense in my brain.
Yeah, that's Hoey typing for you. But no, Hoey's got a lot of faith, a lot more faith in Trump than most people I know of, apparently.
No, and I understand why. It's one of those things like he may not be the best politician. He may not be the best, but like somebody with the mindset like him and being who he is and not shying away from that really reflects on where his values are. And
he's a businessman. That's what it is.
Right.
People look at me weird when I speak in support of Trump because I'm a female. And apparently females aren't supposed to support him. It's anti-feminine to support Trump because he'll just grab her by the pussy and all this, that, and the other thing. But when I'm looking at what I want when I run my country, I want somebody that's going to make sure that our money stays in this country. There's none of this, oh, we're going to pay, this worker's going to work for $10 an hour when the minimum wage is 15, but they're going to work for $10 an hour. But every time they get paid, more than 70% of their check immediately goes into a bank account that leaves this country.
Yeah.
So that stops feeding our economy immediately. Now, every time Trudeau goes to run for elections, his first thing is I'm going to bring in 250,000 immigrants every 3 to 6 months. What are those immigrants doing? I know they want to get a better life, but they are not fueling our economy. They're taking our money and they're sending it back to wherever it is. That is why our dollar is worth nothing. Whereas Trump wants to see that GDP climb and climb and climb because his investments do return. It is a selfish reason, but his selfish reason also reflects on everybody else.
At the same time, you kill your GDP by just doing what Biden and Trudeau both did, which is leave the borders wide open.
Right.
You know, to just let people flood in here. I mean, these sanctuary cities are just ridiculous now at this point.
The sanctuary cities have become so terrible that a lot of people who are in favor of them in the past are now pro-Trump 2024 because of it. And to go back and to piggyback off Jackie's point, yeah, I agree with that because, like I said earlier, there's a lot of people in different communities where you don't expect to lean right, that are basically echoing the same things Jackie's echoing. They're saying, "Hey, when Trump was president, my bank account was more successful. Life was better. Like everything was cheaper. I had more money in my pocket." I mean, Trump outdid AOC in her own district at a rally in New York, in the Bronx, like a week ago. That should tell you everything you need to know.
And, you know, the funny thing is that these people, Trump got 34 felonies. They didn't go and burn down cities in protest. They raised over $50 million for that man the next day for his election bid.
I mean, yeah, you were saying before.
Well, no, something they do even here, like when you get somebody that's in the position Trump is, and you figure out some way to charge them. Yes, you are hindering them because you're taking them to court and you're costing them money. But what you are doing is number one, turning them into a martyr, like you guys were saying earlier, and you're putting him in the forefront and making it look like you're proving him right. Everything you are doing right now is everything that even before he was president, he vocalized and said the government did.
Right.
And now he is literally walking that.
Yes.
And that's the funny thing about turning him into a martyr, because the only thing they're doing is shooting themselves in the foot when it comes to their own election bid.
No. Well, one, they're turning him into a martyr, and two more importantly, they're kind of telling you how they really feel about his power and his popularity. If they truly felt that, oh yeah, we legitimately beat him in 2020, they wouldn't be having to go through all this. I mean, it's kind of weird how people who aren't even like pro-Trump people are looking at this like, hey, you know what they're doing to Trump is messed up. And that's what it is. But I mean, a lot of people, when you think about it from a day-to-day aspect, are very nostalgic about their paycheck from about their day-to-day life from 2017 to 2020.
Oh, you're such a fanboy.
I wouldn't be so. Hoey's the type who'd probably get a tattoo of Trump on his.
He's gonna watch. He's gonna like take the rainbow and put Jesus on one side and Trump on the other side.
He definitely would. He definitely would. Hey guys, this is how much I love Trump, and throw off his tattoo to the entire.
I mean,
MAGA
but
community.
if you look at all of the stuff that's happened between both of them, they've really turned this entire political system into a joke.
They've exposed it. I don't know if they've turned it. It's been getting to a joke for a while.
Think about the last 8 years. Now at this point, all of the wild and crazy stuff that's gone on in the last 8 years alone. That's not even considering 9/11.
Yeah.
Right now, most of us are wishing for previous people to be back in power, because you look back and went, man, I acted so miserable with this guy in power, but in all honesty, kind of had it figured out.
Well, I'm not wishing for the Obama and Bush years to come back. No.
Oh no, I'm saying previous. It does that's not saying the previous. One of them. There's always that one that you're like, just bring them back.
I'll be back in a few minutes.
I mean, maybe the JFK or FDR days, or maybe the Nixon days at the most. But no, I'm not wishing for anything. Like, I'm not wishing for.
Okay, would people be allowed to identify as freaking seasons and trees with them in power, though?
No, because people wouldn't. Because people in general back then were just less retarded. But that's not about politics, though.
Nah, some of these laws are what have messed it up.
The laws are true, but again, that's not from the ground up. I mean, there are things that even 8 years ago were laughed at that are just normal today. Like, yeah, but that special cousin didn't have a platform. He was just that special cousin. That's it. Or they just said, "All right, go to this go to this special ed place on the short bus." That's it. I mean, there's a lot of people that were considered normies 10, 20 years ago. Fuck, I think I'm even in that category at this point. That are now considered extremists. And it's weird. It's bizarre. It's bizarre land. I will tell you that, but I will say one thing. The Trump era exposed a lot of hypocrisy on the right, and the Biden era exposed a lot of hypocrisy on the left. It's like, it was funny to me, like, they spent so many years talking about how Trump wanted to date his daughter, and how Trump can't speak and he's illiterate. Then they hire Joe Biden, a creepy pedophile who can't even finish a sentence without stuttering or forgetting his thought while showering with his daughter. It's like,
yeah, but that one was perfect because they can feed their ideas into the people that are the ones actually doing it. Because you're really willing to sit there and think that it's actually Biden doing that. They don't want him out because they can continue to control him and have them do what he wants, what they want him to do. Because he can't think for himself.
yeah.
Whatever happens behind closed doors, we don't know.
We know more about Biden behind closed doors than we'd like. Like, let's just I'm sorry.
Okay, so maybe right now is a good time to be a Canadian and we don't have to see that crap.
Yeah. I like high instinct. The system doesn't care who you vote for. It only cares that you still think it is legitimate to do so. I don't know who thinks the system's legitimate, though. Like,
Nobody that I know thinks it's legitimate at all.
I think anyone thought it was legitimate, especially after 2020. Like, yeah, in the early 2000s, you had the hanging chads and all that stuff, but
Oh, you know what Trudeau did do for the election this year? They haven't completely passed it yet, but they're going to lower the voting age to 16.
God.
Yeah, it's not sinking in. You cannot compute that, can you?
Although says the system doesn't care who you vote for, it only cares that you still think it's legitimate to do so.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's how I wound up bringing this up. I'm like, they want to lower the voting age up here to 16. It's before the House of Commons right now, but yeah,
I don't see that being a good idea.
So you still think it's legitimate? I don't think it's legitimate at all.
I don't think it's legitimate. I don't think it's been legitimate for a while. I mean, 2016 was the first time where the system was like, nope, this is not legitimate. We don't care. We're allowed to rig things. Go yourselves. It doesn't matter. Leave us alone. Go by. I'm talking about the primaries in 2016.
Scott brought it up.
Yes, I am trying to ignore everyone.
Right.
Wait, that didn't work because I answered you.
No.
So Jackie's going to be stuck in a lap of luxury for the next 3 weeks or so. She had to leave her car behind in Edmonton.
I'm supposed to be doing these outside, but today for some reason it's ridiculously windy outside, so I can't sit outside. So Chad's gonna let me sit. Chad let me sit in his truck.
Oh, he let you?
Yeah. I mean, I always get to ride in it, but to smoke, I don't smoke in Chad's truck normally.
Oh,
okay. We smoke cigarettes, but when it comes to my weed, I don't usually smoke that in Chad's truck because it's like a work truck too. Like this is the one vehicle we can take on right-of-ways and stuff like that if we need to.
How nice of Chad, Hoey says.
Yeah.
Chad, you're awesome.
He had to put up with it, so yes, he's the best. But yeah, my car is not here.
Poor Chad has to deal with Jackie.
Hoey said, Chad, go ahead and charge her rent for the show tonight.
Agreed.
It's $100 an hour, apparently. Thanks.
Scott, if the voting age was 16, who would you have voted for in 1996?
So I'm leaving
in 1990. That was when Clinton and
Dole
Oh,
ran.
okay. If Hoey's gonna help pay for the truck rental, then
Bob Dole, every time
I was about to have to leave.
He always had that ink pen in his hand. It's like, dude, we knew your hand was crooked or handicapped. Just leave the ink pen out of it.
Right. No.
Man, Team America's ruined us.
There was, and we can't forget the little shark guy from Texas, Ross Perot. That was pretty funny too.
And he actually changed the election system when it came to the debates, because once they found out that even though he was a third party candidate, he got like 20% of the vote, and he was even able to participate in the 92 elections. I don't remember who it was. I was a League of Women or something, or some other college of debate organization. They basically changed the rules that didn't even allow third parties to ever debate anymore.
Oh, he said Ross was a joke. He was, man. He reminded me like of an older version of Howdy Doody. let's see here. We're going to take the economy. We're going to go over here with it. And, yeah, that's right. Oh, look at my pie chart. I got 1,450 pie charts right here. We're going to go through all of them right now. I mean, it's like, dude, just shut up. Go lay down somewhere.
I mean, he might have been a joke, but he got 20% of the vote.
I know. And that, to me, was hilarious.
I mean, did you guys look up how many votes Kanye West wound up getting when he ran that year?
Where, 2020?
Yeah. He actually got votes.
I don't think it was 19% of the vote, though.
No, but I don't know what the percentage was, but I was like, look at it, like, I can't believe there was even one.
Yeah. I don't think it was that. Like, if it was at that level, I'd be like, oh my. But
whatever happened to Ross Perot? Did he finally die? Pretty sure he is dead by now.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, he died 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
He lived a long time.
I know. I think Dole, he didn't die. He just turned back to stone.
Some big ass ears yelling at everyone.
Ross Perot was Alfred E. Newman's father.
He even got 8% of the vote in 1996. That's how much people loved Ross Perot back then, apparently.
I wonder if Bernie Sanders is going to throw his hat in the ring again this year.
No. I think the Democrats beat that idea out of him.
What was funny is I seen a couple of students that posted on Twitter that they were so upset because they gave all their tuition money to Bernie's campaign, and they couldn't get the money back.
Yeah.
Well, why would you give your money to the campaign and then expect it back?
Yeah, that's stupidity.
Yeah, like you gave it.
Because he quit,
I mean, if they did that in 2020, that's retarded. If they did that in 2016, that's bad, but if they did that...
there was a few of them that did it in 2020.
I mean, even after the loss, that's retarded. That's insane. That's insane.
So Sean who?
No, I know where he's going with that. I know exactly.
Me too.
Exactly. Sean Yankee did that. I'm like, Sean, Sean, you ain't coming on this show until you get off that Bernie nonsense. Bernie 2020 nonsense. No, you ain't coming on till then.
I think they ought to let Jimmy Carter run again.
I think he's eligible to run again.
Yeah, he should be.
He's
eligible. He's only 183 years old. He should be well ripe enough for the presidency now at this point. Actually, I don't think he has peanut farms anymore. So, he has some idle time on his hands. He can come run the country for us for a little while. Yeah.
He's 99 years old, and he only ran. He only won once, and he ran twice. Yeah, he could definitely run again if he wanted to.
I'm pretty sure he knows who he is and where he's at all the time, unlike the one we have in there now.
Yeah. The LaRoche supporters used to hound us every day at Seattle Central. I don't know what LaRoche is.
What is he? This is not Futurama, Hoey. We're not going to watch Donald Trump's head run for president, okay?
He said Barron Trump, so that's Trump's son. 1232.
I don't care who it is, just the name Trump. No.
No, he wouldn't be old enough to run anyway. It'd only be 26. So.
Donald Trump Jr. for president, 2032.
No, Barron Trump he was talking, not Trump, his other, not Trump.
No, I'm saying Donald Trump Jr.
Well, he'd be older. Yeah, he's like 50, Trump Jr.
Yeah. 2036.
No, he'd have to be 2040 at least.
Don't you have to be like 40 years old?
You have to be above the age of 35 to run for president.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So,
because I could have swore that like Clinton was one of our youngest ones.
Yeah, him and Kennedy were.
Yeah, him and Kennedy were the two youngest presidents.
And ironically, Jimmy Carter.
We gotta get on this. Okay.
Ironically, so is Jimmy Carter.
I have 5 more years.
Yeah,
but okay, Ronald's Alzheimer's didn't really show up while he was in office.
no.
And
more importantly, I think the astrologer thing was a freaking cover. That so because Bush Senior was the one running the country at the time. Who are we kidding? I think the astrologer thing was just like MSM propaganda. Like, hey guys, Nancy Reagan's running the country through astrology. It's like, no, that's Bush Senior. That's Bush Senior. Bush Senior. That's Bush Senior.
I mean, I know it showed, but it's not near as bad as some of the gaffes Biden has had. And you have all of these people on media going, he's sharp as a tack. He's the best he's ever been. He knows exactly what's going on. And then the next clip, they show him like stumbling off a stage because he went the wrong way.
No, I mean, High-End's right. Yeah, no, that's true. High-End's right that, Ronald's memory was an issue in the second term, but at the same time, Bush Sr. was running that term anyway. I mean, there's a reason. The minute Reagan left, Bush Sr. was in charge. Like nothing ever changed.
Always trying to get struck by lightning in his backyard.
At this age, I don't even think it matters with Hoey, not with the JFK stuff, and really with Hoey, but also the JFK stuff. If he lives past 60, then he's no longer a stereotype. That's all that matters.
Bush killed JFK. Jeez.
I mean, he probably was following orders when it happened, yeah. But it wasn't like Bush Sr. was driving the bus when that happened with the CIA. It's like,
Yeah, now you're right. You don't look as gray now. You just kind of look like a Hank Williams Jr. wannabe.
Yeah,
I don't know what you got going on there.
I feel bad for Hoey.
Bush was the CIA lead. Don't start. You're going to get struck by lightning, sir. Do not wear tinfoil hats.
He was working for the CIA at the time. But like I said, I don't think he was the one who made the call, though. Hobo says presidents polarize and captivates the public more than the competent ones, and that is all the system cares about. I mean, everyone says the system is bad. Everyone needs to leave the system and all that. The problem is, especially what I've noticed after 2020, people don't want to be free, and people are not self-sufficient in this part of the world. That's the issue. Like, this isn't other countries where if the system collapses, they'll be fine. Here, if the system collapses and, all sorts of infrastructure collapse happens, people are going to go nuts. They're going to lose their minds. Like, it's not like in other countries where it's like, think about Russia. The Tsar collapsed. We'll be fine. USSR collapsed. We'll be okay. Or some of these other Eastern European countries where they've have how many times their governments collapsed in like 20 years, and they're okay. Even India, it's like, this country is only 75 years old. We'll be fine. Whereas, like, here in America, that's what I worry about. Hoey says Bush Sr. was the head of the CIA at the time. He was the head of the CIA, but again, when you're talking about something of that magnitude, the people controlling Bush Sr. were the ones probably telling him, hey, this Kennedy guy, he's trying to get rid of our jobs. He's got to go. Like, that's probably what happened. But the problem is, like, everyone talks about, okay, well, don't pay attention to the system, pay attention to that. But at the same time, people do have to live. I mean,
they do.
That's the double-edged sword. Like, how many people can truly be so self-sufficient that if everything collapsed today, they'd be able to live, and they'd be functional. Yeah. Kennedy was weird because he started off as a typical crooked Democrat politician, who won a rigged election, but then as time went on, he started actually being a decent president, and then, he got 2 bullets through the back of his head. So.
Are you sure about that?
All over junkie.
What about that?
Do we need to play the Zapruder film just to make sure of that again?
About what?
You said it was around. It was from the back of his head. He actually got shot through the front of his head. I don't want to split hairs here, but
this is
didn't Jackie get covered in it?
Whichever. 2 through the front of his head, whatever. The bottom line is he had 2 through his skull, and that's it.
Do we need to go over the grassy knoll videos, pictures again?
I think so.
I don't care how he was assassinated. He was assassinated because he tried to do right. That's all I'm saying.
No, wrong year. It's this year. It's 2024. 2025, unless we just start the government over again.
All right. Yeah, Oswald couldn't make that shot. There are other members of the Kennedy family that have said the same thing about JFK's assassination and RFK's assassination. They have said, it wasn't.
So, the other Kennedy accidentally driving off the bridge at the Chappaquiddick was his attempt, right? And it just kind of backfired on him.
No, Ted Kennedy was just a stereotype. He was just your Irish Democrat stereotype, so that's not the same thing.
Everything's a stereotype.
Ross says there was no gun.
Hey,
his head just exploded.
Hey, I'm just keeping up with the same energy I see in those chats here, and Miss.
I'm with James on that.
Yeah, JFK's head did that on its own holy line. But the bottom line is harsh for dictator. I could solve a lot of the world's problems. I'm just saying.
You wouldn't. You would deport everybody.
I would deport all the predators and stuff.
Why would you just deport them? If you were a dictator, you could kill them.
I don't like people who eat mayonnaise this weekend, so we're going to deport all the white people.
If you put ketchup on a hot dog, you are going to prison. You are going to prison.
I say eggs. If you put ketchup on eggs.
Yeah.
Ketchup on a hot dog here is worse than that ketchup on it. Ketchup is not good anyway, but
people that put mustard on hot dogs should be arrested.
If you put pineapples on pizza, you get shot in the space.
Sure.
Yep.
That'll be.
I agree with that one's gonna.
Wait, what was about ketchup? What about mustard on hot dogs? You were saying
you need to get arrested for that too, because mustard's just an atrocity.
Mustard is what goes on hot dogs.
It's just Canadians. This is why
I just don't like mustard.
Syrup.
We use
maple syrup on our. We use maple syrup on our hot dogs.
We put maple syrup on our.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that. That actually sounds really good.
No, it doesn't. No, it does not. Don't do that. No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
bread and syrup does not belong with each other. Okay, bread and syrup.
But what about French toast? You put syrup on French toast. That's bread.
That's different. That is bread soaked in eggs and cinnamon and sugar.
That's not.
No, it's not splitting hairs.
Canadians, another law. Canadians are not allowed to talk about cooking. That would be another law. Especially if you're that.
That sounds terrible. Refried bean donuts.
In Canada, that'd probably be a delicacy. Yeah, let's go to Tim Hortons.
I mean, that could also be a name. That could also be another name for a Latina prostitute.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
God.
Jeez.
God, no.
Maple syrup on hot dogs.
Making grilled cheese and midway. No. That sounds like something Jackie would do. Because
definitely not.
Grilled cheese.
I'm a very picky eater.
French toast grilled cheese. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, well,
that sounds terrible.
Most Canadian cuisine is based off British cuisine, anyways.
No, it's not. It's more a sport.
They don't eat beans and toast.
Absolutely, we do not.
Except for beans and toast, but the concept of it is from England.
The concept of it is from England, yes, but actually predominantly our food is kind of inspired by you guys.
Well, I mean, what can I mean,
So, in other words, Canada has an obesity problem because of the United States.
That sounds like a slight Bowie issue.
The only one that did was my granddad. And that's because he still ate the mushy pea shit, too.
Jackie.
Sorry, Chad distracted me.
You're louder than both of us.
Maybe Chad should keep distracting you. That way you'll stop coming up with horrible recipes.
Chad, you're cooking for them when we visit.
I was going to do something else in that, he says.
As a leather queen.
Oh, God. That means that you're going to be photoshopped onto something.
Yay, Grandpa High End is back. God, he's such a boomer when it comes to his pop culture references. He really is. He shot my face on 3 different Trump memes. I'm like, dude,
okay.
You're not even 60. What are you doing?
Hearing Harsh Med call someone else a boomer when he's like the most technologically inept person in the world.
That's not true.
It took you over a year to set up an email address.
Because I don't like using that email. It's not because it took me a year. I'm just like, I don't want to use this. This is terrible.
And of course, Jackie is already sending, what was it, production batter or something? I forgot what it was.
Population paste.
Yeah,
population paste. That's what it was.
She was spamming the inbox with that. And the point being is,
she didn't spam it. I only got it once. Or did you send it to Harsh multiple times? Because that would be funny if you did.
No, he's just technology illiterate.
No, she did. It's because I check my email once like a year. Anyway, the point being is, I mean, some of the pop culture references are boomerish. All the old days.
Uh-oh.
Downloadable software. I actually had to look that up.
Ah, jeez. Harsh, you have no idea. James will make you a full trans for a week straight, 3 shoots a day.
Yeah, but difference is James doesn't have boomer like pop culture level knowledge. There's a difference.
It's called depth, Harsh.
Yeah, I don't care about these like memes from the 70s and 80s. Like, God,
I don't know. The ones he makes of me, Jackie, and Olivia are freaking awesome. I love them.
They are. They're great.
The ones he makes for the radio station are hilarious. If you actually go to the website, the cover page for the website is one of his shoots.
Yeah, I mean that's a good one. Don't get me wrong, but
that's a great one. I love that one.
Right.
Me too. I would think it was my cover photo for like a month.
I know.
Hoey said he's had tits for a week on Facebook now because of James.
He has. What's better is though is he can name almost every girl he's had his face put on.
Alrighty. God.
They're fitting shoots, and not Roz. Roz is ridiculous, according to Hoey.
Oh no, I thought that was great. I just felt bad for Max when he did that. I'm like, wow.
What, the midget one?
No, this one. I felt bad for Max when I saw that. I was like, poor Max. Yeah, well, and it's weird that you call me a boomer when you're the one with the body of a 75-year-old.
Do what?
You have more health issues than like a 75-year-old boomer. Anyway, on that note,
rude.
This has been another. We thank Miss Jacqueline Hyde for joining us on this beautiful Tuesday night. And we also thank everyone's favorite Baton Rouge boomer himself, Scott Ryan, Christopher Nicholas Sonnier, for holding on to 1s and 2s on this beautiful Tuesday night. This is Harsh Med signing up my review. Life is harsh, and it's a living. And sometimes you have to get with it. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your
I want to go.